You got a raise. $2 more per hour. Getting a raise might be the worst thing that ever happened to your bank account. I know that sounds insane. Your boss finally gives you $2 more an hour. You're thinking, finally, I can breathe a little, maybe pay down that credit card, start saving something. But here's what nobody tells you. That raise didn't make you richer. It made you poorer. Because when your paycheck goes up, 3 invisible hands immediately reach into your wallet. Your tax bracket shifts and the IRS takes more. Your spending creeps up because you feel like you have more. And the biggest thief? Something called lifestyle inflation that happens so slowly you don't even notice it's happening. I ran the actual numbers on a typical $2 raise, and I'm going to show you exactly where that extra $4,160 a year went. Spoiler, you kept $3,120 of it before taxes, took home maybe $2,400 after taxes, and if you're like most people, you actually ended the year with $1,040 less in your account than before the raise. In the next few minutes, I'm breaking down the 3 places your raise disappeared to, and more importantly, the one simple system that lets you actually keep the money next time. And here's the thing. Every single action step I'm giving you today is what I call a 5-minute win. Stuff you can literally do right now while you're watching this, or the second this video ends. No complicated systems. No weekend projects. 5 minutes or less. Then payday hits. You check your bank account, and it does not feel like $80. It feels like 60, maybe 65 if you were lucky. And you start wondering if you were bad at math, or if you calculated wrong, or if something got messed up in payroll. Nothing got messed up. You are not bad at math. What happened is something nobody ever explains clearly. It is called the disappointment gap. The space between what your raise sounds like when your boss says it, and what actually shows up in your bank account after the government takes their cut. This video is not about complaining about taxes. This is about understanding the real numbers so you can plan accordingly and stop feeling confused about where your money went. Let me show you exactly what happens. The math everyone skips: you go from $15 an hour to $17 an hour. $2 raise times 40 hours per week equals $80 more gross pay every week. Gross pay. That word is important. Gross means before anything gets taken out. Here is what actually happens to that $80. Federal income tax takes about 12%. On that $80 raise, that is about $9.60 gone. FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare, takes 7.65%. That is another $6.12 gone. State tax, depending on where you live, averages around 5%. That is $4 more gone. So out of your $80 weekly raise, $19.72 disappears before you ever see it. You take home $60.28. Not 80. 60. Over the course of a year, you thought you were getting a $4,160 raise, but you actually only saw $3,120 hit your account. You lost over $1,000 to taxes on money you never even got to touch. The analogy that makes it click. Here is the way I think about it. Getting a raise is like winning a prize, where the government opens the box first and takes their cut before you even see what is inside. You won a prize worth $80, but by the time the box gets to you, there is only $60 left in it. You still won. The $60 is real, but it does not feel like $80 because it is not $80 anymore. Okay, imagine you are 4 years old, and I tell you I am going to give you 10 cookies. You get so excited. 10 whole cookies. You are already planning which ones you will eat first. Maybe you will save 2 for later. Maybe you will share 1 with your best friend. But before the plate gets to you, I take 3 cookies off of it. I say, these 3 are for the kitchen. You know, to keep the lights on and the oven working so we can make more cookies. Now you are holding a plate with 7 cookies. 7 cookies is still great. 7 cookies is a lot of cookies. But it does not feel like 10 cookies, because it is not 10 cookies. Nobody lied to you. You really did get 10 cookies. It is just that 3 of them went somewhere else before the plate was yours. That is exactly what happens with your raise. Your boss gives you $80. Before it reaches your bank account, about $20 goes to taxes. Federal tax, FICA, state tax. Those are the 3 cookies that keep the country running. You still got a raise. The $60 is real money. But it does not feel like 80, because it is not 80. The side-by-side pay stub. Let me show you what this looks like on an actual pay stub. Your old paycheck at $15 an hour for 40 hours. Gross pay, $600. After federal tax, FICA, and state tax, net pay is $462. Your new paycheck at $17 an hour. Gross pay, $680. After all the same taxes, net pay is $523. The difference between $462 and $523 is $61. Not 80, 61. And over the year, that gap adds up. You thought you were getting $4,160 more. You actually got $3,120 more. You lost $1,040 to taxes on your raise. $1,040 that you celebrated, that you made plans for, that never actually made it to your account. Why this matters: this is not about being mad at taxes. Taxes pay for roads, schools, firefighters, all that stuff. That is not the point. The point is this: if you do not understand the disappointment gap, you will plan your life around $80 a week and then feel like you are failing when only 60 shows up. You will make a budget that does not work. You will set savings goals you cannot hit. And you will feel like you are bad with money when the real problem is nobody ever showed you this math. Real example: Maya's story. My friend Maya got a raise last year. She went from $16.50 an hour to $18.50 an hour. $2 raise, just like this example. She was so excited. She calculated it out. $80 more per week, over $3,000 a year. She opened a high-yield savings account and set up an automatic transfer of $80 every week. Week 3, the transfer bounced. Not enough, by the way. I put together a simple 30-day system called the Financial Reset Kit. It has 5 one-page tools that walk you through exactly how to track every dollar, pay off debt faster, and build savings, even on a tight budget. Link is in the description.